Alrighty, here's a video review for Transformers Prime Voyager class Ultra Magnus. Now, he's got a Cyberverse figure, he's got this Voyager figure, and apparently just today they announced that, and this is going to be airing, or posted much after, or like a few weeks after I actually shoot this, so now it's kind of dated that I've said that. But they just announced that there's going to be a weaponizer Ultra Magnus as part of the Beast Hunters line. So at this point, I'm kind of thinking we're going to see him on the show at some point. I just don't see them making a Cyberverse, a Voyager, and a weaponizer class figure for a character that's not going to be on the show. I could be wrong. They gave, they used the Ironhide mold as both a Cyberverse and a Deluxe. Granted, the Deluxe was Cup when they released it over here, but so we'll see. But signs are pointing to him possibly getting slot on the show. Now, to get into this, this is actually my second Magnus, and I'm not huge on him. He's not a bad figure. I'm certainly not big on his alt mode. It's just kind of a plain car or truck, whatever, with some weapons on the back. The only reason I got a second one is because my first one that I got from Amazon, I found this one in Target the other day. The first one I got from Amazon was plagued with quality control programs. Not Amazon's fault, just how it came in the package. It was missing some paint on one of his eyes, and but mostly it was mostly in vehicle mode. In that, one of the issues I had was this side panel right here on the truck didn't sit flush. It would always, no matter how much I pushed it in, it would always pop out to leave this gap here. It just never sit properly in vehicle mode. Also, you can see the gun. There's little mounts that flip out of his legs here to support the gun in vehicle mode. And there's a couple different ways you can do it. This is the way I like it. Just plug it into one side, put the missile on the inner side, and it looks like a nice weaponized vehicle. But on the first one, these supports were so loose as to be useless. They were not. There was no resistance at all, and they would just keep. It would just instead of sitting up like this, the weapon would just constantly flop to one side or the other. It would fold all the way down. There was no ratchet to it. It just was completely useless. So I picked up another one, hoping that the quality control was better on this one, and thankfully it was. This one's actually much nicer. The shoulders suck. At least on both of the ones I've had, and from what I've heard from other people. I fixed mine, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But here he is in vehicle mode. He's got the MechTech weapon, as well as a missile that looks vaguely reminiscent of his signature missiles from the G1 toy. The weapon itself, he can hold as an assault rifle. It does have MechTech. You can see it start to light up as you flip it down, that little green dot right there. But as you flip it down, the hammer flips out. And unlike previous MechTech weapons, there's a little tab here that does allow you to lock it out as a hammer. It does leave the light on, but if that's an issue, you can just unscrew the battery compartment, which is right up here. You want to unscrew this screw on the end. And you can just pop one of the batteries out or flip one of the batteries, and it won't light up if you want to leave it in hammer mode without running the battery down. But yeah, it is capable of locking out. It's nice. For some reason, the hammer mode's cool. For some reason, I really like the assault rifle mode. And I'm kind of sad that this is all bulky on it, but I think he looks cool holding the assault rifle. That's just me. Attachment points. Like I said, you can see each leg has one of these mounts. The instructions show you'll have both of these flipped out, and are saying you should attach the gun via the handles here on the hammer part. Like you should take this and plug it in like this to get it, or like this, pointing backwards to attach. Now you can kind of do that. You can see like I've got it in there, but it doesn't match up over here. The only way you can do it is to spread these out really wide, and you can kind of get those to rest in there, but they don't peg in. It doesn't sit. If you just want to have it kind of rest there in place, that's great. But that's silly to me. I just, like I said, pick one or the other, and then just plug it in. Like I said, whichever side you plug it in, put the missile on the inner side, and I think it looks just fine like that. Plug the missile in, and then plug it right in here, and I think it looks just fine like that. I don't know why they show you use both of them. But there's that. Now, transformer, like I said, you can split the legs back here. Go ahead and flip this in. The feet, go ahead and flip those up. And you just kind of unpeg these side panels here. The legs, you can kind of see he's just kind of folded up inside of a box in there. Extend the legs down. The wheels here, and it's easy to forget this because they don't look bad just sitting like that with the wheels like that, but the wheels do actually unpeg down here and then rotate up and then wrap around the leg. And again, there's a peg here that pegs right into the slot like that. And the same over here. Flip it up. So that's how you're supposed to do the wheels. Wrap them around the legs. You can leave them flat out and it doesn't really do anything. It doesn't affect the transformation. Then these right here, you want to kind of unpeg this because this gray piece, you can see the tabs, pegs into the two sides there. Then just flip this gray piece up. And then this whole canopy bit, you want to unhook the arms here. This whole canopy, you just kind of squeeze and pull back and down. It just kind of sits along his back here like this. And then the arms rotate out like this. Like that. Yeah, see, you can see the canopy sits all the way down against his back like that. And again, shoulders rotate out. You flip the hand out and then fold this armor up and around the inside of his arm. And then these shoulder pieces right here flip forward, and there is Magnus in robot mode. Now, like I said, you can see here, I have stuck some tape in, just some regular Scotch tape in those grooves, and I can trim it. I can trim some of this to make it a little more clean. But, and basically what I did was I just took a little square of Scotch tape, about yay square, folded it in thirds so it was sticky all the way around. And then I just kind of set it over the hole and then snap the arm back in. And as you see, it's much tighter. When you first buy this, the shoulders are so loose in that if you give him either in hammer mode or assault rifle mode and put it in his hand, his arm would just, you couldn't have him hold it up. And you can see it kind of gives a little bit there. But see, here now he's holding it straight up. It's sinking a little bit. It will find some equilibrium there. But he can hold the rifle. Before, his shoulders would automatically just kind of go flop. It would flop all the way flat, and it would just, the weight would make his arm go down. He couldn't support anything. And so I did that. And it's a nice, you can use floor wax is popular as a method. You can use a little drop of super glue to tighten those joints. The tape was just, I was at work, I didn't have any super glue, and so I used the tape. And the tape also has the bonus of, if I ever decide I don't want it to be modified, I don't know why, because his arms are freaking useless if you don't do something to fix them, unless you just got really, really lucky with yours. But if I ever do want it unmodified, pop the arm off, pull the tape out, it's non-destructive. So there's that. Sometimes you can get away with that, sometimes you can't. In this case, yes, it worked. But here he is. The missile can sit along his arm. Just like that. Now, I kind of like the look of a weapon over here and a missile just on one side, but since I did get the replacement, I do have two missiles, so here's what he looks like with a missile on each arm, if you want to have him. You can also plug them up here on the shoulders. I think they're a little too long to look decent up here, but you can plug them in on the shoulders as well. Also, there is a hole right here on the top of the cab if you want to plug the gun in there in vehicle mode, but it looks really ridiculous. But yeah, there's the missiles. And again, you can transform the weapon to the hammer mode, lock it out. Now he can hold it by either handle. Personally, I like to have him hold it by the shorter handle, just because if you hold it like this, it looks almost overly long. I like having him hold it like that, but it's entirely up to you. But you can see, again, he's holding the hammer here and supporting it, whereas before I'd fixed the shoulders, this would have just, the hammer would have flopped all the way down to the floor, and his arm would have been all twisted and looked all gunky, and I'd been like, what the hell? So yeah, there's Ultra Magnus. He's actually pretty cool in robot mode. I really like, once you fix the shoulders, I really like the robot mode. His vehicle mode, like I said, but you have to fix the shoulders. The vehicle mode is meh. I'm not a real big fan of his design, and part of me is spoiled by animated. I loved his missile truck alt mode there in animated. So to have him to just be kind of a generic, I'm a box on wheels, is a little sad to me. But his robot mode does look very powerful and very cool, and I like the design of it. I wish he didn't have just this big chunk of cab on his back. But what can he do? I think his part of it, his transformation is just very reminiscent of the Cyberverse figure, which is disappointing for a Voyager class figure. But he does look very powerful and very cool, and I love the design of his robot mode. I think there's a lot of look to it. I'm looking forward to seeing how it looks on screen, because there probably won't be as much of this crap hanging off his back and stuff. But I think he looks really cool. He looks like a Magnus. He looks powerful. His robot mode is very nice. He does have a ball-jointed head. The collar gets in the way of it a little bit, but not as much as Thundertron's, which we'll see in the Thundertron review. But like I said, my original one, like this eye only had like a tiny speck of green. It was mostly unpainted. And there were and some of the silver up here wasn't painted very well. So I'm glad I picked up the second one, because it alleviated some of the problems I have with it. He transforms properly. And like I said, you just look at that. He's a really awesome looking robot. He's really, really cool. I like his design. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more red or maybe some white on him somewhere, just to kind of break up all of that blue. But his design wise, he's really neat, and that's cool. Is he worth $20? I don't know. It's really up to you. If you like Magnus, if you collect Magnus, he's going to be worth $20 to you. And like I said, I display him in robot mode, so his weak alt mode is less of an issue for me. It bugs me that they got away with that, but at the same time, like, he really is a very powerful looking robot, and I'm kind of coming around on him now that I've got the shoulders fixed and he can support his weapons, and the paint's better and he transforms properly. I'm coming around on him. I don't know. I wouldn't go nuts. Don't pay over retail for it. The one I got from Amazon was for retail price. That's fine. If you find them for someplace online for retail price, it was shipping. That's okay. Don't go nuts trying to hunt him down. Don't pay $50 for this. If you see him on eBay, he's not. I mean, he's worth being patient and paying retail prices for. He's not worth being impatient and paying over that for him. Is my opinion. He does have a waist swivel. And it actually, despite the cab on the back, it's actually pretty effective. You can turn his waist all the way around. So he's got some movement there. See, here you can kind of see what the arm would do if I hadn't fixed it. And as it is, the tape, as you can see, is not a perfect solution. But once it settles in, it will stay in a position. The trick is to just kind of is to set the arm a little bit higher than you want it, and as the tape kind of settles, it'll eventually catch and hold it. But yeah, like I said, it's not perfect, but I could probably get better results with super glue, but this way it's non-destructive. And there's that. Here he is, a comparison with Optimus here, just to get a size comparison between them. And you can definitely almost see an evolution of design here with these toys, because while he's still a little weak for a Voyager in the actual overall transformation design department, you can definitely see some of the strides that have been taken with Magnus since they designed Optimus. But I think they look good together. Like I said, Magnus looks really good in robot mode, and if that's what you're looking for, then there you go. He's recommended at retail. That's my final verdict. Don't pay more than retail for him. But if you see him on the shelf and you want him, he's worth checking out. Just the weak alt mode. I realize a lot of people don't care much about the alt modes or don't display much in alt mode, and if you're one of those people, then he's probably worth picking up. Like I said, you're going to have to do something about his shoulders, unless you just get insanely lucky and get one of the three that aren't weak as crap. But there he is. Transformers Prime, Voyager, Ultra Magnus.